are at 4 and 2. See Sam over here on the right, blue-red twin. He is down a game, actually, to Todd, the Naya Company player. What you may not know about Todd, he's slowly stuck his way onto the SCG leaderboard here. You see 28th right now.
I know a goal of his is to make the Players' Championship in 2016, so doing some work right now.
And we'll go ahead and update here. So on Todd's side, he currently at 23, but short on lands, just 3 in play, 2 forests, and a Stirring Wildwood. Also has a 5/5 Scavenging Ooze dealing some damage, but that mana advantage is only going to get pressed harder. You see on Sam's side, he has 6 lands in play, including a Desolate Lighthouse and a Cavern of Souls. It's where he wants to be. See Todd going to combat. Sam's going to go ahead and Deceiver Exarch tapping down Scavenging Ooze. Now, what we see with Blue-Red Twin, Game 1, we know they're on the combo, but a lot of times they become a much more fair deck and go out of the combo in games 2 and 3. Is this a yes combo matchup or a no combo matchup?
I would stick with the combo in this matchup. No copies of Abrupt Decay in Stevens' list. Just Path to Exile to punch through. I also think that with Collected Company and the larger threats in the game, there's no guarantee that Sam can play a better long game than Stevens can. So I would stick to my guns. And, you know, you want more creature removal, obviously, but I would keep the combo in.
Yeah, to that effect, Sam has kept a lot of his even offensive counterspells in the deck. You see a Dispel in his hand. That's certainly, to me, I think I agree. If you have Dispels, I think it means you want to be protecting the combo.
Yeah, he's just trying to punch through. He knows that Stevens is going to be interacting at instant speed if he can. With Path to Exile, most notably maybe other removal in his sideboard. So if he's got Dispel in the deck, when the deck's full of creatures, indicates to me, like you said, probably sticking with the combo.
Saw there, nothing going for Sam. He just played a land and passed back. On Todd's side is a swing of 2 Scavenging Oozes. Sam can block the 2/2, but he'll take damage off the 5/5. And looks like he's going to go ahead and try to kill the 5/5. He's got a pair of Lightning Bolts to go with his Dispel in hand, so he's going to go ahead and double shoot the Ooze. That will succeed. So Sam avoiding taking damage right now, his 1/4 holding off the Scavenging Ooze. Fortunately for him, that Ooze he put in the graveyard is the only creature there, so Todd not able to break through the Deceiver Exarch just yet.
Nice thing about playing some of the bigger builds of Zoo, like the one that Stevens is playing right now, is that you can get creatures to 4 power or greater and really take the sting out of Deceiver Exarch's ability to block. The smaller builds of Zoo, Deceiver Exarch often buys a lot of time, especially when it's backed up with removal spells.
And you see here, huge play from Todd. After combat, he fetched for Sacred Foundry. That's his first red source. He went ahead and is going to point a Lightning Bolt to try to finish off the Deceiver Exarch, and that will force the Dispel out of Sam Pardee. Last card in Sam's hand, just a basic island. He'll draw and pass. Was not able to loot last turn as that Dispel left him short for Desolate Lighthouse.
Yep, and Sam is definitely on the hunt now for Splinter Twin. Not clear how much he's going to be able to hold off this game for much longer. Steven's going to start applying a lot of pressure. He's got the Wildwood available as well. Scavenging Ooze, spells left over in hand.
Yeah, it's interesting. So do you think, you see a swing here of Scavenging Ooze, whether or not Sam can actually afford to block here? So it looks like he's going to block. No Bolt Pulse combat, but a Grim Lavamancer is there for Todd.
I think that Pardee does need to block here. I don't think he can take those kind of shots.
Yeah, he is down to 11. So Grim Lavamancer and pass, Sam will loot on end step. Looking, of course, for Splinter Twin. I'm sure he'd take something like Snapcaster Mage.
He's at the stage of the game where the combo should end it on the spot, but a lot of his most powerful blue cards pulls him to be ahead in the game.
Yeah, between that loot and draw last turn, I think he's found a lot of gas. Both Is It Charm and I believe Snapcaster Mage have been picked up.
And you see Stevens last turn, he could have ate his Scavenging Ooze in the graveyard with the Scavenging Ooze. It would have tapped him out. I think Stevens is committed to leaving up at least 1 green mana to mess up cards like Snapcaster Mage.
You see Sam passes on end step. Todd will go ahead and take the Dispel out of the graveyard. And Pyroclasm with it. And we'll see what else he picks. 3 Lightning Bolts. It'll take him a while to get through those. I believe Sam's yard has 3 bolts, a Serum Visions, and a slew of lands. And when he goes for the last card, now Sam's going to go ahead and play Snapcaster Mage with Lightning Bolt to take care of Scavenging Ooze.
Yep. And Pardee's graveyard seems so stocked to me that I think if I was in Stevens' spot, I would rather just leave the 1 mana up rather than try to attack the graveyard.
I have to incline to agree there. We go back to Todd's turn. He's still stuck on 4 lands, but he's going to go ahead and play Tarmogoyf here. We have instant sorcery land creature in the graveyard. So the big 4. Nothing extra, though, so I believe we have a 4/5 Tarmogoyf. And interestingly, we a lot of times see blue-red twin in these kind of boards. You know, kind of go on a beatdown plan where they bolt your opponent, card advantage your opponent. It seems like it's going to be tough to do against this Naya Company list.
Yeah, that's why I think that Pardee has to be committed to the combo in this matchup, because I don't think he can really brawl or even be favored in a long game with Stevens with having so many sources of card advantage and threats that are much larger than Pardee's. The flip side is Stevens just doesn't have a whole lot of ways to interact with the combo. He's got his 4 copies of Path to Exile and a couple other backdoor ways of handling it. So the combo should be good, but Pardee, it's very hard for him to position himself as a control deck here.
Well, and even on Sam's side, if he's worried about Path to Exile, he doesn't really have to combo the moment he draws it. I feel like he can sculpt boards where, you know, if he needs a Dispel to protect his combo, he can find a Dispel.
Well, he's used a couple of them already, and Stevens has made some efforts to cut off the graveyard as well and get those spells out of there. So he might not be drawing to all that much protection at this point.
Grim Lavamancer is going to go ahead and shoot down Snapcaster Mage. Leave Sam with just the Exarch. And we're looking at Sam. Looks like he's going to go ahead and Izzet Charm away the Grim Lavamancer. So keep things pretty clean. And he'll pass back to Todd. Sam doing a good job of making sure to leave up Desolate Lighthouse as he treads water here. But no permanent answer for the Tarmogoyf, at least not yet. Or maybe he's going to go swing with Tarmogoyf. Sam will cast Snapcaster Mage and block.
That frees up a Lightning Bolt to take care of the Tarmogoyf.
Yep, I have to imagine that was targeted off the Snapcaster, because now the Goyf has 2 damage on it. But for Todd, no shortage of large creatures. It's going to be Knight of the Reliquary and a 5th land. And Sam will finish off the Goyf, but now he has a Knight problem that he has to take care of. And that's kind of what you're mentioning when you say Naya's just its creatures are a little too big for him to deal with. You know, once Sam gets one, it doesn't seem too hard for Todd to just play another.
Yep, and that's often a tilt for how Twin wants to approach some of these matchups. When Deceiver Exarch is an eligible blocker, then you can be a little bit more controlling. You have more time. Here, because of the size of Stevens' creatures, the fact that Exarch doesn't block effectively means that Pardee really has to focus on comboing out and being as aggressive assembling the combo as he can.
Yeah, I suppose it can block Stirring Wildwood right now, but that's about it.
And Stevens has plenty of stuff to do with his mana if he, you know, once the Exarch is up like that.
All right, well, for Sam, it was a main phase loot, and then an end step fetch for Todd. 1 tap. We'll get a size check on that Knight in just a second here. Almost certainly big enough to swing through the Exarch. I believe it's going to be a 2-turn clock. Knight of the Reliquary, currently a 4/4. So not 2 turns yet, but not something that Exarch can block.
But between his 11 life right now and the fact that he's got a Desolate Lighthouse in play, Sam does have a lot of looks to try to find the combo before he has to start chump blocking.
It's going to be Luxodon Smiter from Todd. Yeah, and this is just a size thing. More creatures that can't be blocked by Deceiver Exarch. And then his other 4/4, the Knight of the Reliquary, will crash in. Sam down to 7.
Well, that's presenting lethal next turn.
And I don't suppose Sam can actually, he can't jump block with the Exarch if he wants to be setting up his combo.
Well, at that point, he has to be doing some, you know, Cryptic Command into X sort of shenanigans to stay alive.
Well, Sam may have bought himself another turn. He's going to attempt to roast the Knight of the Reliquary. And Todd, with a mutagenic growth out of his hand, saves his Knight. And I can't imagine that's something Sam was expecting.
No, that's really bad news.
Yeah, he will get the Knight in the end. His last card was a Electrolyze, so finishes it off. But still feels like a win there for Todd.
Big time. And 1 copy of mutagenic growth in 75.
I'm not even sure it's something you'd expect post-board, but it did great work there. Todd will swing in with Smiter. No blocks from Sam means he's down to 3. And let's have 2 lethal attackers on Steven's side. He plays out his hand. It's Tarmogoyf. Sam needs to combo this turn. Not going to be able to hold off these creatures very long, if at all.
Well, he's got another Exarch in hand, and another Exarch allows him to tap something and chump block to stay alive and still draw to the combo.
All right, so he has 1 turn through that.
He's also dead to Lightning Bolt right now, so
Fair enough.
Steven's definitely with some big draws.
And we'll see, does he hit? Didn't get a great look at it. We'll go over to Todd's side. He's up a game. This would take the match for him. If one of these creatures can connect. Blue-red Trin, not a deck that packs any life gain. And he'll go ahead and make it 3 attackers. Here's Stirring Wildwood on the activation. Sam will flash in a Deceiver Exarch. So Tarmogoyf will tap down. 2 attackers, 2 blockers. As it looks on the board, Sam should get 1 more turn. Todd will swing the team. Sam will block the team. So Exarch hits the bin. And here's a big loot from Sam Pardee. Gets a draw. Either needs a Splinter Twin now, or with a land, he could get 1 more look at 1.
Yeah, but he's running out of the ability to chump block. I mean, another Exarch basically allows him to redo that turn.
Sure, yeah, that would work. He will Desolate Lighthouse 1 more time. And cannot find it. It was Spell Snare. So 2-0, Todd Stevens takes the win and locks his spot into day 2.
Congratulations to Todd Stevens, a player I know has ambitions to make the Players' Championship next year in 2016. And off to an excellent start here, locking up a spot in the second day. And Sam Pardee now back against the wall for the next round.
Yeah, this is a big win for Todd here. We've just are starting to see him on the Open Series, and Sam Pardee in his own right is really one of the best players in the room today. For Todd, he's got to be happy with this start. It's a great way to lock his spot in day 2.
Yeah, matchup